First inductee. How about this man right here? Stand up and take a bow. Coach Roy Pignatiello. Euclid High School class of 72, but of course going in as coach. The second Euclid alumnus to be inducted into the Sports Hall of Fame as a coach. Came to Euclid High School in 1984, got the opportunity then to be the football offensive coordinator, and the offenses that he directed, they were just pinball machines. Well, first of all, they won 136 games and lost just 36 from 84 to 99. Over 3,000 yards of offense averaged per year, 10 playoff appearances. Then he, of course, became a varsity head coach when he took over the girls basketball program. His 96 team won the GCC championship. He was honored that year as the coach of the year. And of course, at Euclid, very innovative about various programs at the school. Started the Advanced Physical Education program, and we are so proud to bring him to the podium in the category of coach. Give it up for Coach Roy. There you go.
You're going to have to indulge me a little bit. Brian's going to be on channel 234. I will be performing live on the third floor of the high school. I still teach there, so if you're interested, you can catch me there. But I do have to put to rest some rumors, especially with Tom Museni here. Our 40th reunion is going to be on this Saturday. I am going in as a coach, not as a player. In our 72 yearbook, in the team photo, I was Ray Pignatiello, my evil twin. So, I was not recognized for those things. I want to make sure, the rumors that Satan is going to start some hockey leagues are false. And the seismic activity in some of the recent graveyards are not my old coaches turning over in their graves. I'm going in as a coach, not as a player. So I want to make sure you clarify. Don't get in trouble. I do have a couple of things that people I want to recognize. Most importantly, my parents. 55 years they've lived in Euclid. Albert and Leda Pignatiello. It's really a special meaning for me tonight to be able to have both of them here for this award. My brother Rocco and my sister-in-law Roberta, I can know that in everything I've gone through in my life, I can always count on them to be there for me. My sons and my daughter is down in Florida teaching, Angela. My two sons are here tonight, Mark and Adam. They got to share their dad with a lot of other people's sons, and that wasn't always easy. But I appreciate the love that they've always shown me. Another person that's kind of special in my life that I want to recognize is Melanie Will. She goes to the games with me now and sits on the couch and watches games and let me grumble like an old man and complain about how much better everything used to be. And I appreciate that, and I thank her for that. But most important, and I really don't think I would be here tonight without this particular person that's at the table. And in the bio, I'm sorry for all the pages in the bio, probably not much left to be said after all that. But is a young man that, you talked, Gary, about learning when you were 33. I was 28 and thought coaching was, X and O's and wins and losses. And I saw a young man go through a very difficult time, and it really kind of changed my outlook on life, and it changed, I think, also the way I looked at what I was doing as a coach. And that's Mark Grant, who came in from Indiana tonight to be here with us. And I want to recognize him. Bill McGinnis, who is one of our honorary inductees. He was my teacher in high school. He was a mentor to me and a friend. And I wouldn't be back at Euclid if it wasn't for him. He believed in me, and the kind of person that I was and what I could bring to the athletics here at Euclid. And I will never forget him for that. When I think about the players that I've coached, you don't stand up here as a coach if you don't have great players. But what I really don't remember so much are wins and losses. I really have a hard time sometimes remembering games. That's why sometimes I do like to look at those brainy photos and highlight tapes, because it kind of helps me remember. But what I do remember is, Robert Smith having, 2 young kids. Tony Fisher coming back and helping and coaching at Euclid. Peppy Pearson coaching at Ohio Dominican. Those guys are great athletes, but they are all giving back and have gone on in life and be successful. All these guys have talked about the lessons that the coaches that they had taught them, and I hope that the players that I had learned those lessons. But it was, it's also guys like you never even heard of, like Donald Dawson, that's the head coach at Lutheran East. Other guys that came back to Euclid, Larry Nazi, that are hopefully continuing and teaching those lessons in life. Dr. Smilak, I can still remember the first day he actually made contact with his pads. We stopped practice and we all stared and amazed because he was actually hit somebody. And now he's my boss and my principal, and I'm probably in trouble. Girls basketball staff. Sue Duranka, who's here up tonight, taught me that there's a difference between boys and girls. I guess I didn't have that talk earlier, but she actually said that when you coach girls, you have to listen to them. I didn't know that. I thought I just had to tell them what to do. And for that, I will always be appreciative. Sam Santilli, always there to do everything that I asked him to do. No matter what I needed him to coach, no matter what I needed him to do, he always did for me. If I ever had. And then being able to come back here, coach, have success, have my kids. It was everything that a guy, who's a 17-year-old kid that couldn't even get on the football field at the high school could ever have hoped for. And to be able to watch those other guys score touchdowns on plays that I called, and go on in life and be successful, was just a fantastic time in my life. Coach Windham, who made an effort to come here, ninth grade coach, he wasn't in that picture, but that's a guy who's coached for probably close to 30 years here at Euclid, and he does it because he loves the kids and cares about them. Coach Barnowski is another one that isn't a teacher. And to find somebody who's not a teacher who can coach and relate to people and stay dedicated to it is has my respect tremendously. Coach Sheck, the original big man, who's in that picture, worked on the offensive side with me for many years. Coach Wednesday, when I first came here to Euclid, he's the one who gave me 2 important lessons in life. One, make sure all the X's block all the O's. He was the offensive line coach. And 2, never give the ball to the tailback inside the 5 in an I formation. Those are 2 lessons in life that I tried to pass on to my children. I would tell them, and they just kind of look at me oddly. But they were lessons that I lived by. And he gave me the discipline, I think, that I needed, as an offensive coach, and was a big part of a lot of the success that we had. Standing next to Coach Schwenke for years, running, Monday sprints. Hall of Famer himself, great calming influence, and being Italian, and sometimes, I don't know, kind of get a little hot-headed. It was always nice to know he was us over there, just kind of like, all right, so. Coach Nolan, what a fantastic teacher. So impressed over all the years. He would take all sorts of body shapes and athletes and all make them into linebackers. And how he would, do that year after year after year was just simply amazing to me. Coach Rizzola, I'll let him talk for himself. Great, great defensive coach. Ended up being the head coach at the school. At that time, though, we were all together. And what brought us all together was, Coach Bank. And I think what really made a lot to our success was I've never met a head coach who never had an ego that got in the way. He let us all do our job because we all could do our job and we were all good at it. And he didn't let his ego get in the way when things went bad. He took the blame He also got the blame when things got good. When I talked to him over in the headphones and made him look smart all the time, calling the play. There were times where I'd be up in the press box, call a play, and go for a touchdown. I'd hear the announcer on the other side, from the TV or something, say, "That was a great call by Coach Bay." But you know what? He took the heat and he got the credit, and that's what I always admired about him. He didn't let his ego get in the way, and I think that's what really made us successful. Coach Doherty, always been nominated me for this. You guys, the mentor as a player, as a coach, he's been a tremendous mentor for me, and always there for helpful suggestions. And not about basketball. If I went basketball, I went to Coach Turpin. He told me how to break the full court press. Doc would tell me how to coach the guys. I mean, if there was a Mount Rushmore for somebody who really understood what coaching was about, he would be the first guy on it. And lastly, I want to recognize John Arlesic, who played quarterback for me. He couldn't be here tonight. He's the head coach at Streetsboro. Because when I got out of coaching, I didn't know if I'd ever get back into it. He gave me the opportunity to get involved in it and find out that I did miss it, and I still had something to give to people. And that's really what in the long run, what I hope my players that I came in contact with remember. Not the wins and losses, not the plays, but the lessons that all these guys talk about that they carry with them throughout their life. I want to thank the committee, congratulate the other inductees, and thank everybody for coming.
Congratulations, Warren. We have come down to our final inductee, ladies and gentlemen.